Are we live? Okay. Should be live. You know the drill. You're gonna have to check and make sure. Ah, no! Backlight reveal already. Just gotta make sure I don't lift up this arm at all. Okay. Let's check if I'm live. Okay, yes. Live. Started a little bit late there. 7:35. I was supposed to start at 7:30, but it's okay. No biggie. Let's see. 0 watchers so far. But while I wait for those watchers to come in, I'm going to get a stand for my phone so I can pick up the live chat. Sorry about the super bright light. I will sit down and cover it soon. There. Better. Right? Okay. Now I can have the live chat just sitting right here so I can easily interact with everyone. I think it'd be best to set it here. All right. Just got one viewer so far. 2. Okay. I'm just going to go ahead and hop into the album discussions. So, yeah. Let's do it. First up on the album discussions, we have Sepultura Arise. Now, if anyone is familiar with metal, this right here is one of the greatest thrash metal albums I have ever heard. Period. I love the complex instrumentation on this thing. And it's coupled with well-structured songs, too. And I love how the lyrics on this thing reflect the tone of the music perfectly. You know, it's very extreme. This album is very, unforgiving in its extreme nature. But that fits the lyrical content, and it expresses its ideas perfectly. Love it. The riffs are really memorable. I love just about every riff on this thing. I can't think of a bad riff, really. It's just all fantastic stuff. And the bass is also great. Guys, don't underestimate that bass. Because bass is awesome. And it adds to the heaviness in this album's case. So yes, definitely take great use of that bass. Sean Reimer says, I made it to a stream for once. How are you? I'm doing great, Sean Reimer. I'm glad you could join me on this musical discussion journey. I'm not sure how long the stream will be. It may be on the shorter side, actually, because I didn't have that much time to do the write-ups. I have 10 albums on my sleeve, but I'll try to talk about these 10 albums for as much time as I can. And also, another great thing about Sepultura Arise is the vocals are amazing. Like, wow. Incredible thrash vocals. This is thrash vocals done excellently. Love it. My favorite tracks on this thing would be Dead Embryonic Cells. That's my number one favorite because I love the interesting lyrical premise. And I think it's overall the greatest performance, not just on the album, but by the band. And also Arise, because I like how that track kicks the album off with a quality bang. All right, that's Sepultura Arise. Is there any metalheads in the chat? Because I'm a pretty big metalhead. Hoping there's some people in there that are familiar with this album. Because if you're not, I would highly recommend it. If you're not into aggressive metal, then you probably would not like it. But if that sounds like something you'd like, definitely check it out. Next up, keeping with thrash metal, Metallica, Master of Puppets. I'm pretty sure even if you don't listen to metal, you are most likely familiar with this album because it is one of the most famous metal albums ever made, and honestly, for good reason. It is an absolute classic. One of the greatest thrash metal albums of all time. And I think it's Metallica's finest hour too, because I love how it keeps a consistent theme throughout the entire album. It keeps a theme of war. And each song touches upon different topics in regards to war. uh, basically showing the darker side of humanity, and it takes on a viewpoint on a lot of these tracks from the enemy themselves, which creates an interesting perspective and also puts things into perspective from the horrible things that people who control war do. So yeah, amazing stuff. And Hetfield's vocals are super impressive, and it complements the lyrics. Uh, this is also the greatest songwriting by the band too, definitely. Cliff Burton's bass is awesome. Rest in peace to the man. Rest in peace, because he keeps a great pace and he inserts his fills in the song accordingly and knows exactly what the song needs. And everybody on this album is just building off of each other. Their chemistry as a unit is at its best here, for sure. The riffs are just killer throughout the entire thing. Killer riffs. You know how to use that term, killer. Okay, favorite tracks. I can't speak today, can I? Disposable Heroes. This is a very interesting one. And also Master of Puppets, of course, because that's a thrash staple right there. And for good reason. It's incredible. So yeah, Metallica, Master of Puppets. If anyone is familiar with this album, let me know in the chat. And if you are not familiar with this album, what are you doing? Go listen to it. Unless you're not into metal, because metal's not for everybody. But if you like metal, listen to this right now. Leave the stream and go listen to it. All right. Next up, we are switching genres up. We are moving on to Kendrick Lamar, Mr. Morale, and the Big Steppers. Kendrick did not disappoint with this one. If you are not familiar with Kendrick Lamar, he is a rapper, and he is an incredible rapper. I love hip-hop. I'm a fan of quality hip-hop. And Kendrick Lamar definitely delivers that on pretty much every project he does. I haven't heard a bad album by Kendrick. It just doesn't exist. Kendrick is incredible. And he did not disappoint with this. Like I said, it's not perfect, okay? But overall, it is amazing. Because the only reason why I say it's not perfect is because Kodak Black is on it. No offense to Kodak Black fans. I know there's a lot of people who loved Kodak Black's part on this album. Totally understand, but to me, Kodak Black's flow is so boring. And even if his lyrics have, some merit, if you don't have a good flow, it just ruins it for me. Yeah, Kodak Black is bad on this album. I'm sorry. No offense to Kodak Black fans. And I did not like the track Silent Hill at all. Apologies to anyone that enjoyed that. And my favorite track would be N95. I absolutely adored that track. I remember when I was first listening to that album with my friend Andre, my best friend Andre. He is a huge Kendrick Lamar fan. He's been listening to him for years. And we listened to that album for the first time together. And when that song came on, we were just both bobbing our heads so hard because it was just incredible. The beat was so well produced, and I love the rapping. The flow changes were excellent. And the lyrics were cool, too. I like that it's about people need to stop putting on a mask and portraying to people that they are good, but they're actually bad when they do stuff behind the scenes. The most emotional song to me was that track, Mother I Sober. I absolutely adored this song. Beth Gibbons' feature on this was a treat, as well as Kendrick's introspective and personal lyrics. He gets so personal in this track. Honestly, I'm not going to lie, this track almost made me cry. It's a lot. And Beth's vocals added a lot, too, to the emotional punch. And this, overall, I would say, is Kendrick's most personal album he has made. And it makes it a very intriguing listen, lyrically, and the production and the songwriting is excellent as well. It's an artistic projection of his personal struggles on his character, on this character that he portrays in the album. So, yeah, amazing stuff. My favorite tracks would be N95 and Mother I Sober. I just praise those tracks because I thought they highlighted the strongest things that the albums did. And also there is a track on there that I love where it's a couple arguing. What's the name of the song? What's the name of the song, y'all? I gotta look it up. We Cried Together. That is a masterful song too, because it sounds just like an extreme couple argument, but it works as a song. They actually flow, and it blew me away when I first listened to that one. So yeah, Kendrick Lamar, Mr. Around the Big Steppers, thumbs up, awesome stuff. Next up, Tyler the Creator, Igor or Igor. How do you pronounce it? I'm sorry if I pronounce it wrong, but this is definitely one of Tyler the Creator's best albums, hands down. And I believe that he improves with pretty much every project he has done. I'm going to check up in this chat real quick. Yeah, he improves with pretty much every project. I like how this one is a romance album that portrays many sides to a relationship. It's not just one of those one note, I love you, and then the next track is just pretty much saying, I love you, just over and over and over again, you know. Just samey. It's not samey at all. It doesn't feel that way, even though pretty much all of the album touches upon a relationship. But each track offers a different perspective of the relationship. And the production is also super inspired, and it pulls from many different genres. And I love how Tyler is not afraid to experiment on this thing, and all of his experiments are a success. And not only that, I commend this album's ability to keep a consistent overarching theme while making each track offer something different. It's awesome. And it has super high replay value. Super high replay value, because each track contributes to the story of the album, but works on its own too. Love that. Like, it's a whole story, but you don't have to listen to the entire album to understand the meaning of the individual track. It's super dope. I highly commend Tyler the Creator for this one. And my favorite tracks would be New Magic Wand, because the production is on fire on that one, and Boy with a Gun. Vocals are awesome. So yeah, Tyler the Creator, Igor, however you want to pronounce it, is just phenomenal. Incredible album. I can't really think of anything wrong with it. My favorite Tyler the Creator album is actually Call Me If You Get Lost, because I said he gets better with every album, which is true. He gets better with every album. He got better with Call Me If You Get Lost, which is also incredible. So yeah. Next up, we'll see how the chat's doing first before we talk about this one. This one got recommended to me by my friend Gray. Elton John, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. This is a cool one. This is my favorite Elton John album. It's his greatest one. And my favorite aspect of this entire thing is John's musicianship. Wow. His eccentric energy throughout is so present, and his passion shines through in every note. And the album has variety too. He explores many different styles of music and incorporates it seamlessly into his sound. And the vocal performances are super impressive on this too. I really, really enjoyed this one. The album cover is also nice, which is a bonus. It doesn't really say anything about the quality of the music itself, but it's just a nice bonus when an album cover is great and reflects a lot of what the album means as well. So, yeah, Elton John, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road is awesome. I would give it a 10, I guess. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to go through and score these with like a 10 or a 9 or an 8 or whatever. That's not really what the point of the album discussions is now. I'm just using it as a time to talk about what I enjoyed about the album, what I may have not particularly enjoyed, and just, you know, leave discussion open to the chat, not just about the quality the album is, but also the influence of the album and what other people think of it. So, yeah, it's just a discussion. And with that, let's move on to our next album, and that is the end of my notes. I don't have notes on every single album, so that is unfortunate, but I will just go off my brain for the next albums. Let's hope I don't make myself like an idiot. Sean Reimer says, can't go wrong with Elton. So much character in all of his lyrics. Absolutely. That is so true. This album is a classic for sure. And my favorite tracks on it are Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, the title track. That is so well written. And also Benny and the Jets. Benny and the Jets. The chords in this are iconic. Dun, 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 dun. I love it. It grips you. It's incredible. Okay. Next up, we have Pink Floyd, Metal. Now with this one, I can't remember if I've talked about it before. I would not be surprised if I did, because this is one of my favorite albums of all time. And honestly, it would be a desert island album if I had to choose only one album to listen to on a desert island. This would be one of those choices that I would choose from. It would be hard to choose, though. That's an interesting question, because I don't really have one definitive favorite. But this album means a lot to me. I have a lot of memories of my early teen years listening to this one, and it blew me away every single time I listened to it. The songs still hold up in quality to me as Pink Floyd's greatest material, which is not a very common opinion to have, but I believe this is Pink Floyd at their best. I believe this is when Pink Floyd found their ground in the new unit they had after Syd Barrett's departure, and they really found a very great songwriting technique, and they were at their best here. I just absolutely adore this album. My favorite songs on it would be Echoes. That is my number one favorite, because that song just feels like a journey to me. It's so dynamic, so interesting, doesn't get boring despite its super long length. It's like over 20 minutes long. Still incredible. And One of These Days, which plays with so many production techniques, that is super interesting. Sound effects, and it's just a great rock song. Yeah, overall, this is an incredible album. If you haven't heard this one, there's a lot of Pink Floyd listeners that haven't heard this one, and it blows my mind. This is like some of their best stuff. So if you haven't heard this one, get out there and listen to it if you're a fan of rock. Next up, The Cure, Pornography. Despite the name of the album, it's not really about pornography. It's actually one of the more depressing albums I've heard. It's really sad. The first track literally starts with the lyric, "It won't even matter if we all died." Yeah, pretty morbid right off the bat, but that's a good way of pretty much setting the tone of the album really well with the lyrics. So, great work there. And this album flows so well. And I think my favorite track on this entire thing would have to be Siamese Twins. The lyrics are about, at least my interpretation of it is that it's with a prostitute, and like he had sex with this character, had sex with them, and it's basically the conflicting feelings they get because they paid to have sex with them, but they're gone, and they felt connected like Siamese twins, and then they're gone, and he still feels that love for them. Conflicting feelings. Pretty interesting track, and the instrumentation is bleak and perfectly encapsulates the lyrical content. That goes for every track. It's pretty bleak instrumentation with the very reverb heavy guitars that echo throughout. It's super cool. The guitar work on this is creative, and I really love what The Cure did on this one. This is probably one of my top Cure albums, I would say. I love pretty much everything The Cure has put out. I love how diverse they are and how unafraid they are to change up their sound. So yeah, The Cure is awesome. If you're unfamiliar with The Cure, once again, get out there and listen to The Cure, my friends. Get out there and listen to The Cure. Okay. Next up, Bob Dylan. Okay, right off the bat, I know there's going to be some people who do not like Bob Dylan. And they have their reasons, because his vocals can take a while to grow on you. At first, I did not like Bob Dylan myself because I thought his vocals were terrible. But it grew on me. It really did. There's just something about his voice. It has a certain charm to it that's very enjoyable to me. And it certainly makes not his lyrics, his vocals all the more listenable when you have amazing lyrics to boot. This album's lyrics are just immaculate. There's so much great stuff on this. Bob Dylan even says that he cannot top his lyrics on this thing. He says he was in a different zone when he was making this, pretty much, and he can't get back to that. And I love how this has the proper balance of Bob Dylan's acoustic folksy instrumentation with the more electric guitar rock sound. He does a good balance of those things on this one. To me, it just kind of displays all the best things that Bob Dylan did. Amazing lyrics, amazing instrumentation. Absolutely love this one. This is Bob Dylan's top album for me. It's very different for everyone. Everyone has a different favorite Bob Dylan album. But this one is my favorite. Let's see what the chat is up to. Got 3 viewers. This one might be a short stream, y'all. 30-minute stream. But I promise the next album discussions live stream will be longer. Apologize for the short length of this one. I just kind of messed up because I did not set enough time aside to work on writing up notes and getting albums accumulated for this one. All right. Next up. Terrorizer. World Downfall. Yes, we are back to metal. We went from folk, rock, to metal. Yeah, that's right. World Downfall. This is a classic of the grindcore genre. And honestly, one of the best grindcore albums I've ever heard. Particularly for the drum performances. The drums on this are so tight. I absolutely love the fills on this thing. So cool. The incorporation of the very tom-heavy fills. Super dope. And the energy on every single one of these tracks is top-notch. There's so much passion put into this. And the aggression is definitely there. They they sound pretty damn angry. But that anger is so well executed. It's an excellent album. And there's some political lyrics in this thing, which is interesting to listen to. Although it may be hard to listen to because the lyrics are not always easy to understand because the growling. But it's still an awesome listen. It's incredible in its instrumentation and what it achieves. So, yeah, this is a badass album. If I had to choose a favorite track from this one, let me look up the track listing. I would probably say it is Fear of Napalm and also Afterworld Obliteration. Those are my 2 favorite tracks. It's best to listen to this entire album from start to finish, to be honest. And if you hear music outside, I forgot to mention this at the beginning, but if you hear music outside, I apologize because there's some people out there by the pool in my neighborhood blasting music. So if you hear music at any time, that's why. Next up, and our final album for today, Milestones by Miles Davis. Oh, man. See, this album's going to be hard to explain why exactly I love it because I am not a jazz musician. So I can't go into the intricacies of the songwriting here that is going on. But holy crap, does this album amaze me. It's incredible. I love the variety on this thing. From Milestones is very upbeat. Bum, 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 bum. And then you got pretty intense songs on this too. And more calming songs. It's good variety. And, ooh, the musicianship on this thing is on fire. Like, it blows me away every time. I'm pretty sure I said it blows me away every time. Multiple times on this, but hey, it blew me away every time, okay? So I'm going to say it blew me away every time. Miles Davis is an icon. One of the most influential trumpet players there is, and one of the most influential jazz musicians in general. And I always find great enjoyment out of listening to his music because he's incredible. Truly incredible musician. And you got other amazing people on this too, like John Coltrane. You have Cannonball Adderley. You got Red Garland. And you got Paul Chambers and Philly Joe Jones. This is just, yeah, this is the band from heaven right here. So yeah, That's Miles Davis Milestones. All right. Dang. Started 24 minutes ago, and I've already wrapped up on the albums. I gotta say, this one's probably gonna be my shortest stream yet. Dang. Yeah. I'm done. That's all the albums I got, y'all. Shoot. That was short. That was short. You know what? It makes me want to do another stream this week, actually, because I wish I had more time to prep for this one. I should have prepped for it more. That is my fault. Put the blame on that to me. I should have prepped way more for this one. But don't worry. On next week's stream, I will put more prep into writing notes for the albums and getting more albums accumulated so I can get this to at least an hour. Because 24 minutes, that's really short for a stream. So, gonna make sure that does not happen again. So, yeah. That's about it, my friends. I hope everyone had a good time. Enjoy me ramble on about those albums. If you haven't heard about those albums, I hope I brought up an album that you may want to check out. And yeah.